The quality of the works is poor. People just want to get money, eat the money, leave the contractors. People are given contracts. Who is who? Who is who? Kira Namutomba.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think this Parliament should take advantage of the presence of some senior ministers. The Attorney General was the chairman organizing committee for MK birthday parties. Last week, MK was in Kampala inspecting all the broken roads. Since the Attorney General serves both the father and the son, he can now tell us when the roads, now that the father failed and the son came to help, when the roads in Kampala are going to be fixed. But Madam Speaker, the second point, I have the order paper here.
Was that a point? The first one?
No, I thought Parliament will take advantage of...
no problem. Of course, when the father is there, the son should be able to support. We can ask the son to help. There is no problem with that.
And I didn't say, Madam Speaker, there is a problem. I only said...
AG ask MK to support and see what can be done. Yes.
Yeah, I only wanted us to take advantage of people who are multi-talented, who serve fathers and children. Madam Speaker, I need guidance.
I am happy Minister of Roads has come.
Finally. Madam Speaker, I need guidance. On the order paper today, we have two items on supplementary. Item number 9 and item number 5. From my experience here, both as a journalist but also as a member of Parliament, usually the passing of the appropriation is preceded by dealing with all the supplementaries to close the previous year and then deal with appropriation. The guidance I need, why is this item coming after appropriation? Why don't we deal with all the supplementaries at once and then go to appropriation when we have closed the financial years? I have been reading proceedings of Parliament for the last 15 years. This is what has been happening. You deal with all the supplementaries. The trouble is that you have a government that misbehaves. As you are dealing with one, they are presenting an addendum. The same thing that they are doing on the budget. So you don't know which one you did. So I need guidance, Madam Speaker, on the order paper. The item number 9, item number 5, specifically, why does this one come after the appropriation? The appropriation bill is passed.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I'll go straight to the area of dissent. We discussed with the Majority Committee on the decision by Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to dispatch 180 billion to Achak Sugar Factory under Vote 105 to the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperation for purchase of equipment to be leased to Achak Works against the parliamentary resolution to acquire additional equity shares of 180 billion to Government of Uganda as indicated in the majority report on page 24 during the 13th sitting of the second meeting of the first session of the 11th Parliament of the Republic of Uganda held on Thursday 13th November 2021. Our recommendation: the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development should provide a share certificate for acquisition of equity shares in Achak Sugar Factory worth 103 billion on behalf of Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, our conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker, is that this 180 billion cannot enter, 8 billion
108.
cannot enter the appropriation bill. Right Honorable Speaker, Parliament approved, and I have the answer with me. The Deputy Speaker at that time put a question on a minority report, and the minority report was lost. Then he put a question on a majority report, and the majority report was carried. The majority report recommended that government should use 180 for acquisition of equity.
So 108.
Now, 108 billion for acquisition of equity. Now, a resolution of this Parliament was communicated to Parliament that we passed money for purchase of equipment to the Minister of Finance. That was a distortion of a recommendation of Parliament, which majority report was adopted, and the communication to Minister of Finance would provide us to what we recommended. Now, for a figure under provision of the Constitution, I'll ask the Attorney General for our side to elaborate on the law. For a figure to enter an appropriation bill, it should be both the sum and for the purpose for which you appropriated. Any money where there is a change or for a purpose which you are appropriated cannot be part of an appropriation supplementary bill. Therefore, our position is that money for ATIAC, 180 billion, cannot 108 cannot be in the appropriation bill we are going to consider. We will exclude that figure. And those who spend this money, the law will take its course. Because that's all Parliament can do. Minister of Finance has been using the 3% and other provisions to undermine what we do. Their day has come. On ATIAC, we have them. They have moved contrary to the law. That's what the law provides. Right Honorable Speaker, I move that the committee, the Parliament recommends for us to exclude money for ATIAC because it was contrary to what this committee resolved the ministry to use this money for. I beg to move.
The aspect, the purpose of this appropriation bill is for us to regularize the books of accounts for financial year 2021-2022. We need to close the cycle, accounting cycle, before we go and supply. That's why we make this, we pass this bill. And secondly, the expenditure has already been incurred. Maybe that becomes now administrative. Attorney General?
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, one, like you said, correctly put, this is to ensure I understand the objection of the Honourable Member, because he said money was appropriated to acquire.
I beg to report that the House has considered the bill entitled the Supplementary Appropriations Bill 2023 and passed it with no amendments.
With amendment.
And passed it with amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the committee.
I'm moving under Rule 138 to move a motion for recommittal of the bill. And Madam Speaker, before you put the question to that, I draw your attention to Article 88 and Rule number 24, which requires you to ascertain that this House is properly constituted to take a vote. So I beg now to move a motion that Vote 1015 Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives be recommitted, as I will propose, to reduce the sum by amount of 108 billion shillings. I beg to move.
Vote what?
The amount is Uganda shillings 108 billion.
I'm asking the vote.
Vote 015.
015.
The amount spent on purchase of equipment in ATIAC Sugar Factory in contravention of the resolutions passed by this Parliament. I beg to move.
Honourable members, we are going to put a question.
Yeah, and Madam
If,
Speaker,
if on recommittal of vote 105, and if you don't agree with the recommittal, you say nay. If you agree with the recommittal, you say yes. I now put a question that vote 105 with a reduction of 1.008 billion used by government be deducted from vote 15 on the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The nays have it.
Bill third reading, the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2023.
Honorable Minister.
First of all, for me, this doesn't pass out as an innocent error. Because we spend almost a whole day debating whether first we should give Atiaka Sugar Factory money. This disagreement started even in the Committee on Budget, and I sit on the Committee on Budget. Eventually we said, okay, if we want to save Atiaka Sugar Factory, we must acquire shares. We don't give a donation. And that's why that was the condition that we gave when we are passing the supplementary request. It turns out that actually, when the communication was being made by, I think he was acting clerk, Waiswa, he said this money, 180 billion shilling, is to buy equipment. That's why today, first of all, I'm disappointed that matters have gone the way they did. Because you see, we have passed, but at the same time, the Attorney General will have to return because there are other supplementary requests to deal with. Because it appears to me now that the condition we put that we must acquire share certificate in the Atiaka Sugar Factory was not fulfilled. The Attorney General says he's going to bring evidence. So we now wait. So that money is going to remain controversial until it has been settled. If government fails to provide proof, some of us are willing to go to court. Because this money was never a donation to Atiaka Sugar Factory. It was money for government of Uganda to acquire shares, which they have not done, at least according to the information available. And for me, I don't even want to blame the clerk. When we are dealing with the bills, the whole government is represented here. The transmission of the content of a bill by the clerk is just a process, just a procedure. But these decisions are taken when government is represented. They cannot therefore in any way feign ignorance that they didn't know what Parliament had decided. They actually know. In fact, that's where the investigation will need to start. If they did not acquire equity in that company, it will be a connivance. In fact, we will even be moved to think that they connived with the clerk who sent the message. Because otherwise, the whole government was here. They can't turn out to say that we didn't know that the communication was that give the money. This money was never to be given for free. Together, government yeja nesaba nti tujikirize erete nnongosereza mu budget. Netumala ebbanga ddene nga tubagamba nti tukiriza kuwa Atiaka Sugar Factory sente za bwerere. Bwe twamaliriza ne tukiriziganya nti okay, sente ezo zimugenda okuwa Atiaka tuteekwa okufuna emigabo ng'eggwanga mu kampani eyo ekola ebikajjo. Ne tukiriziganya ne gavumenti kati olwaleero bakomyewo nga batulaga nti kye twayisa si kye baakola, sente Atiaka bamuwa buyizi abwerere bilioni 108. Kati kitubadde twagala Attorney General aleete obujulizi ne share certificate kiwandika ekiraga nti shares twazifuna. Agambye ajja kireeta tumuwadde weeks 2. Nze saagala kwegatta kwabo abeekwasa nti clerk wa Parliament bwe yali awandika yakola ensobi. Ebintu bye tuyisanga boolabye olwaye tubiyisa ne gavumenti weeri wano. Ne bwabeera clerk yakola ensobi nga gavumenti yalo twenze bensobi ffe tulina okutereeza ensobi bo tebaalimu. Saagala na kwekwasa clerk gavumenti bwebeera nga yagenda mu maaso newaatya akasente ne tutafunamu share. Omanya nti wekabeeko baana ne clerk zino sente babbanzibe. Kola ensobi bwe twali tuyisa etteeka ly'amagezi erya age limit. Mwalimu ensobi zisobola okukolebwa naye ekyebuuzibwa nti zaabadde ensobi nga zikoleddwa oba bwabadde bugenderevu. Kale kye tulina okunoonyereza, tulina okuddayo ne ku Hansard tulabe ku Hansard kwaliko ki. Kwabo oba owandiika olina okuba nga byogenda okuteeka mu transmission letter bivudde ku Hansard.
kati awo tujja okunoonyeza ensobi yakolebwa ba Hansard, ensobi yakolebwa Clark.
I think the problem with ATIAC arises from the mistrust which appears to be there now between Parliament and the executive. Because the issue is money was passed by Parliament to the tune of 108 billion. That money was supposed to go towards ATIAC, but government was instructed to acquire shares in favor of equity, or in terms of equity, so that the government interest could be covered, given that the government had put in a lot of money. But you see, the problem is to date, we don't see any evidence that the government went ahead and acquired equity to protect this money. And we see the same money coming, resurfacing again in the budget, you see, for the same amount which was passed and which should have been passed on by ATIAC. So that's where the problem lies. The problem is that the government, the executive seems to be hiding behind behind something. There's something which they're not saying clearly regarding the appropriation of this money. So that's where the problem lies. So that's why we...
Ebyatiaka bubbi obuwedde amazima, because one, Parliament byasalawo ku ATIAC, abakulembeze ba Parliament eno ku bbaluwa mwami Waiswa gye yawandiika yakyusa okusalawo kwa Parliament. Ekyo mu luzungu bakayita, that is a criminal act, fraud. N'ensi yeetwala babakulira Parliament baliriddawa nga bakola communication yeyo. Ekyavuddemu Uganda yakutte ssente biliyoni 18 n'ezigemulira omukyala Amina mu ATIAC. Kwa twatugambye nti tugule emigabo tubeere ne share mu kampani eyo. Wetwandyogeredde kati senga bannayuganda be basinga emigabo emingi mu kampani ya ATIAC bazimuwa buwi. Kitegeeza ki? Kitegeeza nti Parliament na wano byonna bituyisa biringa tulinga abali mu mazina geki okumala okwogera oli n'abaleeta rekodi bye mwayisa si bye mwakolako ate sente tuzigisiza. Does it add up? Bikola amagezi. N'olwekyo, consequently one day, and I must warn this Parliament, bannayuganda lumu bajja kukoowa bino ebyekisiru bye tukola. Olweggulo olumu bajje batuvumbiikirize wano batugambe ekimala kikola ki kimala. Kati ani gw'ogamba nti gwe wennyini osomye ripooti ne bagikusomera bye mwayisa tebabigoberera ate n'ogamba bituufu tubiteeke ne mu ssente ze twayisa, ng'etteeka ligamba nti ekintu ky'ogenda okuteekako ssente mu bill kiteekwa okuba nga ssente ezo zagenda ku ekyo kye twasalawo okukola, a specific function. The law is very clear. Article 156 is very clear nti tosobola kuyisa ssente bwe zityo. Kati bino bye tuliko byonna and sinze omuntu omulala nze nako ogenda mu makooti, omuntu omulala ajja kgenda mu kooti alope Parliament eno. Nensuubira nti Clark yawandiika ebbaluwa eyo ye nkya yandibadde afuluma geeti za wano. Ne sipiika n'abalala abakulira Parliament eno, kino kya buswavu mu nsi endala etali yaffe eno mwe tukwata enseenene. Senga wano abakulu baalizayininze dda, naye ensi eno buli kimu kiyitawo nga bwe kiteekeddwa okuyitawo. No, the issue of ATIAC is they came here to get money, 108 billion. In the wisdom of Parliament, we said, okay, we have invested so much money in ATIAC, and it is high time the people of Uganda get equity from where we put our money. So we passed a resolution and said, we are giving you this money to buy equipment, but for us we shall get equity. That is a shareholding in that company for our children's children, so that one day we shall have shareholding in that company. If it grows, by the way, ATIAC can buy out government of Uganda over the years, and people who manage corporate financing, they know it can be done. It doesn't mean that government is taking over management of equity, because over the years, ATIAC can make money and buy out government's equity and become owners of the company. But for the beginning, to avoid loss of money, we said, let us acquire equity. We made that resolution in the budget committee brought to the Committee of the Whole House. Parliament adopted it. A clever clerk here called Waiswa manipulated a resolution of Parliament and consequently communicated that we okayed the money, 180 billion, for equipment purchase. When you look at the thin line, you will say you also want to buy equipment, and they bought equipment. But we are saying, okay, for us, we are bringing in our money. Give us equity and go and buy equipment. So after us acquiring shareholding, now, that was not done. A wrong communication was made, and consequently, we lost 180 billion to ATIAC. And what is surprising is that after passing that money, there was a fire outbreak on ATIAC. Sugarcane and the factory was burnt down. Immediately we passed that money, there was a fire outbreak. And that's how we have lost. It's the same ATIAC that has come back for 179 billion in under 3%, which Parliament, the other day we said we must stay approval. So when you look around, we would have invested near 700 billion in ATIAC. And the ATIAC owners have invested less than 140 billion. So people of Uganda should be the true owners of ATIAC. And for now, we are at zero. It is being managed badly, no restructuring as recommended by Parliament, but we've gone ahead now and included that money in a schedule for which is contrary to the Constitution. So a constitutional abuse.
Parents against narcotics. That's where my interest lies. And I've been a member of that forum for the last 12 years. As if, I've been married for the last 15 years with the two wives. But right on the speaker, where our concern and interest as parents lies is precisely not because government is not interested. No. It is because of the history. Right on the speaker, I have another private member's bill that I'll be introducing, if you give me leave. The challenge we've been having, Learned Attorney General, is that courts make pronouncements on pieces of legislation and you keep quiet. I'll give an example. The Muhanga Chivumbi case is here. For the last 12 years, you were quiet. So when courts make pronouncements, and some of us who have interest in this matter come on the floor, we do it in good faith, but also because of history. The other day I was here with you. We were discussing the Law Reform Miscellaneous Provisions Act. And we were looking at many pronouncements of court at both Constitutional Court and Supreme Court where you kept quiet. So because there is no guarantee that action will be taken, and yet there is a problem, that drives us or compels us to come on this floor and exercise our mandate as private members. The bill I am talking about, which again I will seek the indulgence of the Speaker, of law reform, also has that direction, that courts have made pronouncements and you have been quiet. So I have no problem, Learned Attorney General, if there is a guarantee that action will be taken, and timely action. Otherwise, if you keep quiet, there is no reason why we should not be moving.
Honorable members, we need to move. When you look at the legislative agenda that we got on State of Nation Address, we had 62 bills to be brought during this financial year. And Honorable Attorney General, I want you to bear with us. We should be seen to be a parliament that can perform. We had 62 bills to be brought to the House. Now, we have only passed 15 bills. Out of the 15 bills, you cannot count 7. The 7 are tax bills, which are given. So, we have only passed 8 bills from government. The rest of the bills that we have passed are from private members. I want kindly request that can we allow Honorable Asuman and Honorable Aru Komakech present introduce, and then if it necessitates, you take it over. Government
has been passed by private members here without the participation of government. So
there is introduction and bringing. Who brings?
Yes, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I do appreciate where Parliament is coming from. We seek your indulgence to allow us to introduce this bill. This bill was introduced by government. Government is interested in this bill, and government will take timely action on this matter, Right Honourable Speaker. If we introduce a private member's bill, we have to work backwards, reconcile them and etc. Yet we have done all this work. Right Honourable Speaker, we beg that you allow us, we'll take timely action on this matter as government. We'll take timely action and come back to you.
There's
Many in this Parliament presented the Honorable Chiwanu Kachiryo as the best Attorney General ever. I did not join the chorus. I said, wait a minute. Now, the same Parliament, and the Honorable Osman was one of those who were praising him. Sorry, I withdraw. I withdraw. So, Madam Speaker, the procedure issue I am raising. The procedure issue I am raising, Madam Speaker, is whether Parliament is reversing that declaration and joining me who said, before you celebrate, wait. If Parliament is not joining me, and I want to persuade my young brother, the Honorable Asman, because I remember the Honorable Katuntu brought here a private members on communication. Government took it over midway when they had expended a lot of energy. I want, Madam Speaker, to persuade you and the mover to give the Attorney General, who many in this Parliament said is the best, I did not participate, a deadline, either 10 days or after 14 days. If he doesn't bring, then the Honorable Asman brings, such that we will now accuse him of failure. I am going to be hesitant to support my young brother, and the Honorable Asman knows I support him, and I like that vigilance. Because I participated in making this bill both at a committee level. I used to be a member of the Committee on Defense, and we moved the whole country with the minister responsible. So, Madam Speaker, I want to persuade you and persuade the House and the Honorable Asuman that we allow the Attorney General 2 weeks. If he's not here, we move, Madam Speaker.
I'm aware, Honorable Speaker, that we're expecting the report of the minister today. It's not on the other paper. But also, I'm aware that the people who are objecting to paying of tax, even when they are committed, went to court and even obtained interim orders. Will the Land Attorney General inform this House and the country the steps he has taken to vacate these interim orders, or have the matter resolved in one way or another, 2 months after the interim orders were obtained, Right Honourable Speaker? Recently, Right Honourable Speaker, I'm also aware that the statutory instrument upon which we are supposed to pay these taxes expires now in the next 30 days or thereabout. And no steps are being taken to have the taxes paid or have this matter properly explained, Right Honourable Speaker. These are the issues, Right Honourable Speaker, that make this House look a bit flimsy yet very serious a House of Parliament, Right Honourable Speaker. So will the Land Attorney General explain the steps is taken or how far is gone to, one, to ensure that the taxes are collected. 2, to vacate the interim order. But also 3, the report of the Minister. Right, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Attorney General.
Honourable Speaker and Honourable Lop. 1, appearing in court to pursue the government position. An interim order does not take away the tax obligation. It just stays that obligation for that time. So we are working on the case, and we have to work within the schedule of government. Right Honourable Speaker, the issue of collection of taxes is a matter of administration of tax. The moment the tax has been set, the person who is obligated to pay the tax will be required to pay that tax. And even if a person defaults on paying that tax, there are procedures to be followed to pay the tax, to recover the tax. Right Honourable Speaker, the issue of gold has been discussed extensively. The issue of the tax was in the law. Parliament then allowed for the amendment to be done in the new Mining Act, and that is where the instrument was coming from. However, there are 2 schools of thought on that issue. Some people claim they shouldn't be paying the tax because it's too high, others claim otherwise. However, once the tax is in the law, it's payable, and the recovery of the same must be undertaken by the tax authority. And even if they were to have a remission of the same, there are procedures that are set by law. So Right Honourable Speaker, I don't think any member should be worried here. Once the law is in place, the tax is payable, and if it is to be remitted, there must be a procedure followed to get to that. But I will be here, I think, Right Honourable Speaker, you did rule that a debate will be had on that matter, but that's quickly off the cuff, the answer.
Okay, thank you. With Attorney General, that Asumani introduces the bill, and he will take over. You will work with him to have the bill worked on.
Produced. However, the record, like members are saying, should show that we still needed to bring this bill as a government bill. And Right Honourable Speaker, Honourable colleagues.
Anyway, now that you're not ready, can we go to the next item? And I'm giving you Thursday to bring that bill.